For a long time, when it came to global development and big money, there were really only a few names in the game. But that's changing. A powerful new institution has entered the scene, and it was built specifically to challenge that old guard. To really get what's happening, we need to see how things used to work.
Think about it. Since the end of World War II, if a developing country needed a huge loan for a new port, a highway, a power grid, you name it, the road almost always led to Washington, D.C., right to the front doors of the World Bank or the International Monetary Fund. That was the system. That was the established order.
Well, that's the question, isn't it? And the answer is reshaping economic power and global alliances right in front of our eyes.
So who is the force behind this massive shift? It's a group you've probably heard of, but one that has recently gotten a whole lot bigger and a whole lot more ambitious, the BRICS+. And to get a sense of the scale here, just look at the numbers. The G7, the traditional club of wealthy nations, represents about 10% of the world's population. BRICS+, on the other hand, is now a home to nearly half of humanity. And yeah, while the G7 still has a bigger piece of the global GDP pie, you can absolutely see which way the momentum is shifting.
So who exactly are they? Well, BRICS started as an acronym for 5 major emerging economies. But in 2023, things got really interesting. It went through a huge expansion, bringing in key players from the Middle East and Africa. Now, this wasn't just about adding more letters to the name. It was a major strategic move to beef up the group's economic and political influence on the world stage.
And the flagship project of this new, bigger bloc is a financial institution with a very clear mission to offer an alternative. This is the New Development Bank, or NDB. You know, this quote from India's top diplomat really just says it all. It cuts right to the heart of why the NDB even exists. It's a direct response to this feeling among rising powers that the doors to the world's most exclusive clubs were locked. So they decided, fine, we'll just build our own.
And this is its headquarters in Shanghai. It's a powerful symbol. For 70 years, the center of development finance was in the West. This building is a very deliberate signal that the world's economic center of gravity is shifting.
But what truly makes the NDB different is how it's structured. In the World Bank or the IMF, power is basically tied to money, which gives the US what amounts to a veto power. The NDB flips that whole model on its head. It was built on a principle of equality. Each founder holds an equal share, which means no single country can dominate. This isn't just a different rulebook, it's a completely different philosophy of how the world should be run.
But a bank is more than its headquarters or its voting rules, right? Its real impact is measured in the projects it funds. So where is all this money actually going?
Okay, let's start with the bottom line. The bank now has a project portfolio of over $35 billion. This is not some small-scale experiment, folks. It's a major new player in global finance, and it is growing fast. And when you look at their portfolio, you see a really clear strategy. Almost 40% of their funding goes to transport. We're talking roads, bridges, ports. Another quarter goes to clean energy. This is financing for the fundamental building blocks of a modern economy.
Let's make this real. Here in India's heartland, an NDB loan is widening and reconstructing key highways. And this isn't just about asphalt, it's about connecting 12 million people in rural areas to markets, schools, and hospitals. And get this, it's expected to cut down on traffic fatalities by at least 20%.
Now let's jump over to Brazil, to the city of Curitiba, which is already famous for its innovative bus system. The NDB is funding a $75 million project to improve the rideability and efficiency of this critical urban artery, making public transport faster and more reliable for thousands of commuters every day.
And in South Africa, which faces some pretty significant energy challenges, the NDB is tackling the problem with projects like this, large-scale battery storage. This is a total game changer for stabilizing the grid, integrating more renewables, and at the end of the day, improving energy security for the entire country.
So yeah, the projects are real and they are impactful. But let's be clear, the NDB and the BRICS+ bloc are about so much more than just concrete and solar panels. This is a geopolitical power play.
Take a look at these numbers. The expanded BRICS+ group now controls over 43% of global crude oil production, more than a third of natural gas, and over 40% of the world's wheat. That is an unprecedented concentration of power over the things the global economy literally cannot function without. Which leads to a pretty provocative question, doesn't it? Could this bloc use its control over raw materials as a diplomatic tool? Could it effectively form a new kind of cartel that could rival organizations like OPEC in its influence over the global economy?
Well, the reality is more complicated. Key members like India aren't just picking a side in some new Cold War. Instead, they're playing a game of what's called multi-alignment. That means participating in BRICS while also strengthening partnerships with the West, like the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue with the US, Japan, and Australia. It's all about having a foot in both camps.
And you have to remember, this bloc is far from a monolith. There are significant tensions bubbling under the surface. Members have different views on the war in Ukraine. India worries about the whole group becoming dominated by China. And there's this crucial debate over their identity. Is the group simply non-Western, offering an alternative? Or is it fundamentally anti-Western, aiming for a confrontation?
So where does all this leave us? The future of the bloc really hinges on whether it can manage these internal dynamics and find a path toward working together.
And the one key relationship to watch is between the two giants of the group, India and China. After 5 years of high tension and no top-level meetings, their leaders actually met at the BRICS summit in October 2024. They agreed to focus on stabilizing their shared border. Now, if this thaw holds, it could significantly boost the bloc's internal unity and its global influence.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question. Are we witnessing the rise of a powerful new force that will fundamentally alter the global order? Or will it all fracture from within? Its success will depend entirely on its ability to navigate the competing interests and deep-seated rivalries of its own members. The next decade is going to show us exactly which path it takes.